Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me for another Smart, Happy, Strong Kids segment with the Stigma-Free Society. I love doing these segments and chatting with you a little bit more about some tools that you can use in your everyday life to be a little bit more smart, happy, and strong. And today's theme is connections to nature. Last week was Earth Day on April 22nd. And Earth Day really had me thinking this year about why nature is so important to humans and some ways that we're truly connected to nature and how it can really help us feel more happy, stronger, more connected to our community. So I wanted to take today's session to talk a little bit more about the connections to nature, why those are so important for us as humans, why they're really important for us to think about, and how we can continue to build our connections with nature more now and in the future too. And we're going to talk a little bit about the brain as well, and why nature is an important aspect of how we can maintain a healthy brain, a healthy body, and a healthy social aspect as well. So we're going to talk about all of those things today. We're going to do a little bit of downtime to get started. We'll also do a little bit of play and others with a little bit of discussion around nature and why it is such an important aspect of our everyday lives. And then we'll end off with a little bit of downtime at the end. So if you've been with us, viewing any of these sessions before, either with on the Facebook Live events or on YouTube, we always do a little bit of play others in downtime throughout. So we will get a chance to do that today too, for sure. And I am going live again today. Hopefully the internet is going to treat me well. If it cuts out, I will jump back on and continue on with the session after as well. But again, I just wanted to say I am, through this Facebook Live event, representing the Stigma-Free Society, which is a Canadian registered charity that aims to reduce stigma of all kinds with a focus on mental health. They promote mental wellness, education for youth, while providing resources for educators, school counselors, and parents and guardians. The Society's goal is to create awareness of the various stigmas that exist in the world, develop an understanding of the challenges that numerous people face, and encourage people to foster acceptance of themselves and others. So if you are interested in learning more about the Stigma-Free Society, I do recommend you going to their website, stigmafreesociety.com, and they have lots of awesome new initiatives happening all the time. So you can check out their website for more information, or you can also check out their Instagram or social media pages as they keep you up to date regularly. So thank you, Stigma-Free Society, for having me back, and really happy to continue on with these segments with you. So thank you. So the first thing we're going to do to get started is we're just going to talk a little bit about materials that you're going to need. So today you're just going to need a few markers or pencil crayons and some paper. You will need some pieces of paper. We're going to be doing a little bit of drawing, a little bit of self-reflecting today. And then I'm hoping, my goal is after you watch this segment, you're going to go outside and you can go do the second part of this activity with your mom or your dad or your brother or sister, or maybe even all your family can join and go get outside and connect to nature together. So that's kind of the goal for today, is really thinking about your connections to nature, how they make you feel happier and stronger as a person, and how you can kind of make a pledge to continue to make connections with nature in your local community. And maybe even some ways that we can continue to take care of nature and our natural environment around us as well, which is really important, and a little bit apart about what we're going to be self-reflecting on today. So before we get started with our activity, what we're going to be doing is starting with a little bit of downtime. And the reason why we start with downtime is it really puts our brain into receptive learning mode. It helps us feel a little bit more calm, more safe, more relaxed, and it helps us feel ready to tackle a new activity or challenge that we maybe haven't tried before. So maybe this is your first time joining this segment. If you've never done downtime before, we're going to start with a few rounds of some deep breathing, and then we're going to do a little self-reflection emotion check-in question. And then after that, we're going to do a little body stretches and movements just to kind of get your brain and your body moving around. When you activate your body, you activate your brain. So the more you're able to move your body around, the more you're able to activate your brain and get ready to try and do a new task. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of rainbow breathing. I love rainbow breathing. It's a really great body stretch, but it's also a really great way to get some deep breathing and oxygen into your lungs. And it helps you really focus on your slow inhales and exhales as well. So if you are standing, you're more than welcome to stand for this exercise. Or if you're sitting down like I am, you can stay in your seat. Whatever is more comfortable for you. If you are sitting on a chair or on a couch, I would love for you to just make sure that your feet are touching the ground. So make sure you are grounded and you are kind of in a nice straight back position. You don't kind of want to be slunched over or kind of leaning to the side. Just make sure you're nice and straight and you are ready to go. So the first step is for rainbow breathing is you're going to bring, whether you're standing or you're sitting, you're going to bring your hands down by your side. So your palms are facing like you're about to give a low high five. And once you're in that position, you're then going to take a big deep inhale through your nose. And as you take an inhale through your nose, you're going to bring your hands up over your head like you're making the shape of a rainbow. Okay, so we are going to take a big inhale through our nose. Exhale. Awesome job. So we're going to do this 2 more times. If you want, you're more than welcome to, as you're breathing in, close your eyes, and you can actually visualize a rainbow in your mind. And what colors would your rainbow be? It could be the regular colors of a rainbow, or maybe you want to be extra creative today and add some new colors to your rainbow as well. So if you want to add a little bit of extra visualization to this activity, you're more than welcome to do that. So hands again by your side, and we're going to take a big deep breath up. Exhale down. Awesome job. We're going to do that 1 more time. So try to take your biggest breath of your day. Inhale up. Give yourself a big high five at the top. Exhale down. Awesome job. You can even just bring your shoulders to the back. Get a little body movement in there. 5 rolls to the back. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Then we're going to bring our shoulders to the front. For about 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Maybe you've been sitting in your desk all day. Maybe you've been learning from home on a computer. Or even parents, maybe you've been working on a computer, writing too many emails today. We're just going to get a chance to stretch our arms across our body and just give our shoulders and back a little bit of a nice stretch. So you can bring your right arm across first, just get started. Great. And then we're going to go with our left hand just across our arm. Awesome job. Okay. You can even give yourself just a little bit of a bear hug, or maybe even a big bear hug, not even a little bear hug, but give yourself a big bear hug. And you can just kind of pull a little bit to the side, either way. Awesome. Maybe even say a positive affirmation to yourself. I'm awesome, or I can do this. Something that's going to motivate you for the rest of the afternoon. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to move your body a little bit more, get some deep breathing in, and even sometimes too, I love to ask children, youth, adults, how did you feel before you did a little bit of deep breathing and movement, and how do you feel now? So really kind of that's going to segue a little bit into our emotions check-in aspect of our segment, which is really thinking about how are you feeling? So I'm just going to ask you, how are you? How are you today? Sometimes our common response is good, fine, I'm okay. But I really want you to think, how are you feeling today? What would be one emotion that you would give yourself today? So I'm even just going to give you 20 seconds, let's say, just to kind of close your eyes. And I want you just to take another deep breath in through your nose. Sigh out the mouth. And I want you just to sit for a second and think, how am I feeling today? And think of one emotion that you would give yourself. Okay, take another deep breath in through your nose. Another big sigh out the mouth. And you can open your eyes. And I want you to now think about that one emotion that you're feeling. And you can grab your piece of paper. And the first thing that you're going to do is just write that emotion down. I want you just to write that emotion down a little bit, or just on the paper. And you don't have to show anyone yet, but I just want you to write it in the corner of your paper. Okay? And now what I want you to do is look at that emotion that you gave yourself, and I want you to think, how could I represent that emotion through nature? What could be one thing in nature that could maybe represent that emotion? So maybe if you are feeling a bit tired today, you maybe could draw maybe some raindrops falling. Maybe that could represent you wanting to fall down and go to bed. Or maybe if you're feeling tall and grand today, you could draw a big tall tree. But really thinking about how you're feeling and how you can represent that emotion through nature. So I want you just to, again, look back down at the emotion you gave yourself, and then I want you to think about an image or a picture or something through nature that you could draw and that you could add to your emotions check-in. Okay, so I'm going to give everyone about 30 seconds to just really think about how you could represent your emotion through nature. And I see Maddie saying hi. Hi, Maddie. Thanks for joining. Okay, so I'm going to give everyone 30 seconds starting now. And when we get back in 30 seconds, we'll see the different types of images that we've drawn and how we represent our moods through nature. Okay, we have about 10 more seconds left. So again, looking at your emotion that you wrote down for yourself, and then how would you draw that through nature? What image would you use? All right, I'm going to share mine first while you're finishing up drawing. My emotion today was scattered. Could be a Monday mood, but feeling a little bit scattered today. And how I represented that emotion through nature is the clouds. Sometimes you'll see clouds scattered throughout the sky. Sometimes they could be in clusters, or they could kind of be wispy clouds. I'm just taking a peek outside my windows of what the clouds are doing outside right now. But they do seem scattered throughout the sky. So that's how I represented how I'm feeling today. Kind of like clouds, a little bit everywhere today, and that's okay. So how are you representing your emotions through nature? So again, I said I felt a little bit scattered, and I represented that through kind of clouds in the sky, because that's what I thought of. When I think of the word scattered, I think, oh, clouds are scattered throughout the sky, and that is how I'm going to represent my emotion for today. So I would love to know, how are you going to represent your emotion for today, and how are you using nature to do so? So if you can share that with your parent now, or parents share that with your child, or whatever you drew too, or if you did this activity, we would love for you to take a picture of it and tag at Dolphin Kids Achievement, or you can tag at Stigma-Free Society on Instagram as well. We would love just to see what you created. So I kind of always give this spiel about why emotion check-ins are important in every segment, but I feel like it's really just important to kind of constantly hear, because sometimes we don't always think about how we're feeling every day. And that's okay. But self-reflecting on our emotions and really understanding that there are no bad emotions. So any emotions that you feel are normal, and really understanding why you feel those emotions can help you figure out ways or tools to overcome them, or keep you feeling that same way. So me feeling scattered, that could seem almost as a negative emotion. Feeling scattered could also lead to stress and not wanting, kind of feeling all over the place. But that's okay. I know that feeling's normal. I I know that I can kind of take some steps and things to overcome that emotion, or take a few more deep breaths to feel a little bit more grounded and kind of focused on what priorities I need to get done and accomplished. So just by checking in with myself, with you now, really kind of helped me recognize, okay, that is how I'm feeling today. Now I need to kind of take the steps in order to help me feel maybe more focused or more organized a little bit later today or tomorrow as well. So I'm always curious as to what emotions you feel, and always thinking about why you feel those emotions and how they could have impacted your day. And maybe if self-reflecting on those emotions sooner could have helped you change your mood. So again, I encourage you to self-reflect at least twice a day. You can do it more. I mean, I encourage you to do it as much as you possibly can. But if you're just learning how to kind of self-reflect and check in with yourself, try it in the morning when you wake up. Take a couple deep breaths and write how you're feeling. And then try it too before the end of the day, before you go to bed. How has your mood changed? Are you still feeling the same way? Or what are some things that you've done throughout the day that could have been making your moods a little bit different or change throughout the day? So thank you for sharing and participating a little bit more in the emotion check-in with me. The next step we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about nature. One of my favorite things, actually one of my favorite pastimes, is to go explore the mountains. And that is what I really, really love to do. It is one of my favorite hobbies, as to be outside. And I'm wondering if all of you really enjoy being outside as well, and kind of what you feel when you're outside. When I get a chance to get into nature, I honestly can say I feel happy. It is a place where I love to go, explore, be curious, feel like it almost builds my imagination, but it also really reminds me of how grateful I am to live in such a beautiful province, but also to be surrounded by such amazing natural environments. The mountains, the trails we have, the beautiful trees. So all of the different aspects of living where I live has really made me feel super grateful about being in nature and being outside. And the world is such an amazing place, and nature provides us so much serotonin. Actually, one of the cool things about humans and nature is that humans are biophilic. So that is your brain science word of the day, biophilic. So everyone can say that out loud with me at home. And biophilic means that humans are naturally connected to nature. So when we are feeling a little bit sad, maybe feeling a little bit angry, need a little bit of a mood boost, nature actually naturally provides us with endorphins and serotonin, which are our happiness chemicals in our brain. So they actually make us feel good being in nature. Even looking at the color green in nature, looking at trees or grass or even the blue sky can really actually help us feel a sense of calm and relaxation as well. So there's tons of powerful connections that we make with nature. Being outside, even just running around, exploring the grass, looking at bugs in the dirt, all of those things can help us really stimulate our adaptability. It can also really help us stimulate our curiosity and imagination as well. So nature is a very powerful thing, it's a very beautiful thing, and finding more ways to connect with nature can help us not only again, build our curiosity and imagination, but it can also help us build connections to our community. So sometimes we may see that we don't always treat nature in a great way, and we can see litter or pollution in our local environments, and it's really important for us to take action on those things. So one thing that my husband does that I really love is that every time he's out for a walk, he'll bring a trash bag and he'll pick up garbage. And that is just one action that he takes to make sure that his community and his natural environment around him is staying beautiful, and it's not on the ground where it shouldn't be. So kind of thinking too about how you're making connections with your nature around you, and how you're helping and advocating for your environment around yourself as well. So some of the things that you're doing to help make sure that your natural environment is staying as beautiful and as positive as it possibly can. One other thing about nature that's really important is that it really kind of helps us build our kind of sense of place in the world. So it really helps us really understand kind of a little bit more about what the world provides us and our resources and the things we have around us that we should be kind of really thinking about and feeling grateful to have access to. So that is kind of part of what we're going to be doing for our little drawing activity today. We're going to be having a chance to really think about nature, our connections to nature, and why we're grateful for nature and what we're grateful for. So kind of thinking about nature in terms of gratitude can really help us feel more appreciative for our natural environment around us, and can help us really kind of understand how you want to keep that nature as beautiful and as connected to it as you are now. So one of the things that we're going to need is more paper. So we are going to need some more paper for this activity. And then you are going to need some pencil crayons. You can have a pencil, marker, whatever writing utensil you have nearby. But the first thing I would look for you to do is just to split your page into 4 sections. So you're going to have 4 different boxes. And we are going to think about 4 different things in nature that we are truly grateful for. That we're grateful that we have access to, that we're grateful for that we've at least seen. And we're going to be using a little bit of our senses as well. So I'll give everyone 5 more seconds to grab some paper and a marker and just kind of roughly split your page into 4 sections. Your lines, your drawings do not have to be perfect. I've shared some of my drawings on these segments and they are definitely not perfect. Okay, we're gonna get started. So the first thing we're going to think about being grateful for is things you can see in nature. So what are some things that you see in nature that you are very grateful for? So for example, that could be just laying on the grass and watching the clouds. That could be seeing some beautiful tall trees. That could be seeing some trails, mountains, water. What are you super grateful for that you can see in nature? Birds, bumblebees. Could be anything in nature that you've seen, or that you've even, not maybe you've seen in person, but you've seen through pictures or videos that you feel very grateful for to have in your local environment or just in our global world. So once you have your idea, I want you to draw it, okay? I don't have all the colors of my markers today, so some of my drawings might be in some very interesting colors, but that's okay. You can draw more than one image too. We have time to draw a little bit of extra images throughout. Okay, so there's a lot of things in nature I've seen that I'm super grateful for, and I feel really happy, and anytime I get a chance to go out in nature, I am super grateful to have these things close by, but also super grateful to be able to see these things regularly. And a couple of those things are the mountains. If you haven't guessed from the picture behind me, or from my past videos, I love being in the mountains, but just even seeing some of the mountains that I've seen throughout my life has really made me recognize not only how small I am, but also how vast and enormous some of these landforms are, and how amazing that is, and how long these mountains actually took to develop and become the way they are. So sometimes when I see mountains and even see bodies of water, that I drew also some water down the bottom too, I always stop and think, wow, like how long did that take to develop and be there? So I'm very grateful for those moments. Also drew some birds in the sky. I've seen some pretty amazing birds in my life. So always really grateful for the animals that also live where I live as well. All right, the next kind of sense that we're going to be doing is, what sounds in nature are you grateful for? So what can you hear that you are grateful for? So I'm going to be actually drawing some birds again because I'm super grateful for being able to hear the birds. This is just my short version way of drawing a bird. But some other sounds I'm super grateful for are the trees rustling in the wind. And I also love the sound of frogs. If you haven't heard some good frog noises, especially at night, it's a pretty awesome sound. So again, some sounds I'm truly grateful for are birds chirping, especially with spring now. It's so awesome to hear a lot of the birds chirping in the morning. Trees rustling in the wind, always a beautiful sound. And I also really love the sound of frogs. I hear them a lot around my house at night, and it's just so awesome to hear them ribbit around and kind of knowing that their habitats are close by makes me feel really grateful. So what are some things that you've seen in nature or see on a regular basis that you're grateful for? What are some things that you hear that you're super grateful for? The next one is touch. What are some things that you maybe have picked up or have touched in nature that you were really grateful for? Some things that you felt. One thing I love to pick up, if they're falling off the tree anyway, we should never try to pick nature off anything, just kind of being able to observe it. But leaves, when they fall off nature. And another cool thing that I love to touch is grass, sometimes even mud. Anything that's kind of a cool sensation that you can feel. Also tree bark is a really cool sensation when you can actually feel the tree, and you can kind of get a different sensation every time. All trees are so different, so kind of seeing and feeling them is really cool, and kind of really thinking about how long have they been there? How old is that tree? Where did it come from? How did it start? It started from a little seed and now it's a huge tree. So really, again, trying to be grateful and thinking about, where did this nature come from and how did it come to be? Okay, so let's just recap some things you see in nature that you're really grateful for, some things you hear, some things you've touched, and the last one we're going to do is smell. Right now with spring, the smells around the trails are really beautiful. So what are some things that you smell in nature that you're really grateful for? For me, it's the fresh flowers, especially the flowers that spring brings. So I would have to say the flowers would be some things that I'm truly grateful for, to be able to walk out and be able to smell the fresh flowers, or even sometimes just walking along trails, you can smell the different plants around nearby. Another thing that I'm really grateful for the smell is fresh rain smell. Yesterday I went for a walk after it rained all weekend, and the rain smelled amazing. It made the air feel so much cleaner, and it has such a wonderful smell outside, and I was really grateful for the clean air. That was one thing I was super grateful for in nature yesterday. So we're thinking about what we're grateful for in nature and helping us understand our connections to nature and truly how amazing nature is, and how powerful it is for our minds, our bodies, can really help us try to find ways that we can connect with nature more. So one thing, after you look a little bit at the things that you're grateful for in nature, I would love for you just to kind of think of a pledge to yourself, or think of a pledge that you and your family can make to help keep your connections to nature strong. That could be going outside on a daily basis, and playing outside and exploring maybe some new trails or hikes, especially with the summer coming up. That could be trying a new sport outside, new activity. It could also just be making more observations about the world around you. So when you're walking, maybe looking at the trees, or maybe trying to find things that you haven't noticed in nature before. And another aspect could be even picking up trash or helping promote positive natural environment in your area. So that could be picking up litter or finding positive ways that you can create a really strong community and really understand your impact can really have a powerful impact on the natural environment that is close to you. So really kind of thinking about ways that you can continue to build your positive relationships with the natural environment around you, and how important those are to a smart, happy, strong mind and body. So we would love to see what you create. Again, tag us on Instagram or Facebook if you did any of these exercises today. We would love to hear a little bit more about how you connect with nature, and maybe some of your favorite things about the natural environment around you. So you can comment on this Facebook Live if you get a chance to watch this video later. And we would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for joining. We're just going to end with our Dolphin Kids mantra. So we're just going to take one big rainbow breath up. Exhale your hands on your head and say, I'm smart. Bring your hands to your heart and say, I'm happy. And show me your muscles and say, I'm strong. Awesome. Big high five. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you in a couple weeks for our next Smart, Happy, Strong Kids segment. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful week and get outside and play.